Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week of the Lost Mind podcast. Today, we are joined by two extra special guests. In addition to Lucas, we have James Sims and Brandon Oviatt. How are you all doing today?
Hello.
I'm doing
Thumbs
great.
up.
Doing well.
Wonderful.
I'm doing good.
So, we've all met Lucas, but we wanted to get some fun facts from our guests today. James, can you start us with your fun fact?
Yes. So my fun fact is that I was the first one who built Pokestop Charizard, which is a deck that Landon played a little bit, and also got top four in a Brazilian regional, I think.
I did not get the top four, just to clarify.
Well, yeah, someone else did, but Landon also played it. I kind of dropped it after I made it, but some other people played it. But it was a pretty cool deck. So yeah.
Yeah, very good.
What about you, Brandon?
And
I got my Limitless page with Dialga V-Star, so that was pretty cool.
that was so clean. I remember being there, and you were just clapping all the noobs. And
Yeah, it was great.
It was awesome. It was a great time.
Amazing.
But yeah, today we're going to be talking about San Antonio. We have a little tier list to go along with our meta discussion here. Myself, Lucas, and Brandon will be in attendance this weekend. Unfortunately, we've been missing Mr. Sims because he has epic things to tend to instead. But he's always playing online, so he has very good opinions.
I grind
and takes
online
to provide. Yes, he does. So we just kind of got a couple.
My bad. Messed it up. Okay, we're good.
Oh my.
It's fun. So yeah, we just have a couple of the top decks. We're gonna be kind of all putting our testing into one tier list here. We kind of left off some of the more obscure things. I think the most. Thank you. Good way to start it off. We left Goldenko on here as it's been a running joke that we hate it on the podcast, and then I think the only out there thing is Cloth Electrode. But what do you guys think to start is our first S tier deck? Because I think it's a pretty clear three.
3 decks in S tier. I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think
I
so.
don't even think any decks are in S tier, if I'm being honest. I think there's a lot of A tier decks and no S tier one.
Honestly, I kind of agree.
I think the S
My
tier.
thoughts were Charizard, Miraidon, and Gardevoir because they're kind of like the three top dogs, and
I
they're
would-
like
I'd be
say
okay
like the
with that.
safest plays. I think that's fair to put in the the S tier, because those are like the top 3 decks to beat. And James had some good things to say about how he thinks they're all S tier earlier.
Okay.
Yes. So I think that Charizard, Miraidon, and Gardevoir very clearly the best decks because they're all beat each other. Zard beats Miraidon, Miraidon beats Gardevoir, and Gardevoir beats Charizard. But I think those are just very clearly like the triangle top 3. And then like some other decks in A are like the decks that can take pretty good matchups into those decks, but also have consistency issues, which is going to be like Giratina and Inteleon. Inteleon's super duper good if it works, and it has a pretty decent matchup into all those, but this struggle and consistency, and sometimes it can just like get outpaced by Gardevoir or
Okay.
Miraidon. So
We're moving quite fast here. What do you think? Why do you think that these 3 decks deserve to be in S? What do you think makes them better than all the other decks?
I just think they all just have the highest like I guess not damage, but like power level overall, and the fact that they also like all can beat each other just kind of I think makes them naturally all just rise to the top over everything else, and that's why there's like 3 of them because they all just kind of circular beat each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like a triangle. You know, your Miraidon beats your Gardevoir, but it loses to the Charizard. Your Gardevoir beats some versions of Charizard and loses to Miraidon, and then Charizard beats Miraidon and loses to Gardevoir if you're not playing the good 60 play Lost City Minior. Maybe not Minior.
We cut Minior, Lucas. We've cut Minior.
We cut Minior.
That sucks.
Lost
Minior is
City.
not a good card.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that
We hyped it up a lot last week, but it actually doesn't really do anything that Heat Tackle doesn't. So use Vit Ban the Charmander and does the same thing.
So yeah, I think that the Zard, the only reason that Zard isn't like clear S and everything is A tier, the deck is so slow, man. Not slow, but it just feels bad to play. It feels, sometimes it can become inconsistent unless you're playing like very good, very consistent no tech lists, which I mean aren't really able to be played right now. Like you need your Lost Cities for your Gardevoirs. But speaking of the Zard, I wanted to give James to say stuff about the TM Evo build, because you've been playing that build quite a bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the TM Evo build is the build that has the still has the 4 Arven, like the Pidgeot one, except you have the TM Evolution, which can evolve your Barrels and your Charmeleons. Actually, play 2 to 3 Charmeleon, and you cut down the rare candy. So the idea of the deck is that you have a draw engine that isn't shut down by path. And you go second with the deck, so you can try and get the team evolution every time. Let's say you set up your Charmeleons and your draw engine if you need it really, really quickly. And then my favorite part of the deck is Professor Turo, because since you're putting Charmeleons in play rather than rare candying all your Pokemon, it means that you can just naturally evolve them, and then Turo can kind of chain a Turo and just rebench and evolve all your Pokemon. That's a really powerful part, I think, of the Barrel one is you get to use Turo, which not only can heal your Charizard, which is pretty good in Mirror because you can like basically just take back an entire turn, because besides the last turn of the game, your Charizard is getting a one shot. As well as the Snorlax stall, you give yourself a pretty good out there with. I play 2 of them. You can play less if you want to, but you give yourself a pretty good out there as well.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think about it when you're going first? Do you think it's just I've heard that TM Evo going first just is actually abysmal.
It's not abysmal. It definitely feels worse than going second 100%. But unless you're going against a deck that can attack turn 1, it's not too bad, because you can still just kind of chill and TM Evolution on your turn 2, and they're still going to be taking a prize card if they're not attacking turn 2. They're just going to be taking one, like I guess like a turn delayed. And you do still play Rare Candy, still 2 of them, and Luminion for Arven, and then Arven gets Steel Stone. Like that can get you a Charizard right there sometimes if you need it. So it's not too bad if you go first. It's definitely worse. So if you're like, it's definitely worse online if your opponent can just see you're playing Evozard and choose to go second against you. But if you're playing closed list, it can be a little bit better in that regard.
Okay,
Cool.
that makes sense. So
I like that.
I like it a lot. Do you still play Lost City in that build? How do you beat Gardevoir?
I never played Lost City until now. I've started adding it. It's because I didn't really have the space for it, but I've tried cutting down on trying to go into one turn. I really like it, but it is kind of
I cut up a card.
annoying too sometimes. Yeah, like it's experimental to play the 2, and then oh man, I lost my train of thought. What was the question? I'm sorry.
I was asking, how do you beat Gardevoir?
Oh right, so I did play the Vengeful Punch in the deck, which if your Charizard's over one shot, basically will just retaliate back with a prize card for you. Baby Guardy is coming in, but the Lost City is also really, really good in that matchup too.
I'm a Vengeful Punch hater. I think that card does nothing. Lost City's your only out, I swear. They just vacuum and it does nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't all play vacuum.
Speaking of Guardy, Brandon has played Guardy quite a bit. I think you have 2, James. But Brandon, I know you haven't played Guardy in a while. What's kind of made you stop playing it?
My biggest issue, and this is personal, I tilt a lot more with that deck than others. And the mental after 9 rounds with it is quite exhausting, but also one of my friends was telling me this the other day, but Gardevoir, it feels like every card in your deck is very important. And so no matter what, you're always playing from behind. Everything you prize sucks. Like, it feels terrible. It doesn't matter what card you prize. There's nothing you're okay with prizing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh man.
Yeah, I also just don't like tying. I mean, I usually play pretty fast, but I just wouldn't want to put myself through the grinder of playing that kind of deck in a regional, at least. Probably for a cup, it'd be finer. I've played it for like challenges and stuff. But,
Finer? Jeez.
And
Wow.
have any of you guys played Miraidon much? I haven't really.
I have been playing it a lot.
You have been
time I
playing
play
it a lot.
Oh, actually, yeah.
I have
James
been
has
around a
been
lot.
playing it a lot,
Okay.
actually. Why so?
Let's hear the
You've switched from Charizard to Miraidon largely at this point.
So it's been probably going to switch off from Rhydon soon, to be honest. It's getting a lot worse now that Charizard's coming in. The matchup it's tough. I need to test it more, but it's definitely winnable, but it's tough. But when I first started playing it, Gardevoir was really, really popular. There's like the Toward Lost Box hype, which there still kind of is now. And it'll stay on top for sure now that also Lost Box Charizard won a regional. That match was pretty good. The guy that lost in finals got kind of unlucky. But it's just solid. When you hit your generators, man, the deck just goes zoom and you outpace a lot of decks.
Are you playing the 2 double turbos?
Yes,
like
I was
Beach
gonna
Course?
ask
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, 14
it's
lightning, 2
better
double
result.
turbo.
Yeah.
That list is sick. Yeah. So you're going full aggression. Do you play? You don't play. Oh wait, I'm so dumb. Yeah, if you play Beach Court, obviously you don't play Path.
Yeah,
It's
2.
fine. So yeah. Do you guys have anything else to say about Miraidon, Gardevoir, Charizard?
Every time I play
not
Miraidon,
really.
I can't figure out how that deck wins games.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you don't get turn one attack, your deck just kind of sucks. But you just hit turn one
Yeah.
attack, it's fine. Yeah.
James, do you have a response to that?
The deck is built to get turn 1 attack. If you
Yeah.
don't get turn 1 attack, you're getting kind of unlucky, but you get turn 1 attack pretty good amount of the time. So
Okay. Well, I think
Okay.
I know the next deck in A tier, and I want Brennan to talk about it because he's been testing it, and it's Mugenics X. I've played this deck quite a bit as well. It's like my second deck for this event. I think it's kind of broken, but I just don't feel like getting dogged by Zard all day.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Brandon, how has your experience with Mewgene, and especially how has your experience in the Charizard matchup been?
A few hours testing the Charizard matchup today, and the deck part doesn't feel unwinnable. Yeah, everyone's saying it's very unfavored, but I've been going back and forth between the Grabber and the Hammer build.
Yeah,
Nothing.
so
I
I
haven't tried
want
hammers at
I want
all.
you to explain the hammer build because that is it's kind of been seen a little bit, but nobody's really given it a lot of attention. What is your reason for playing hammer?
It's very annoying. It helps your Tina matchup, and so it helps against Tina. It does help against the Zard. It makes it so they can't just evolve and manually attach.
Okay.
You still do have the issue of them setting up 2 Charizards, but if you can get Charizard only runs 7 or 8 energy, and so after they have set up on their turn, they have a few in the discard. You can start hammering them off after you knock out one to get through the second, and so I found that to be very useful and it has won me a few games.
Mhm.
Nice.
But also you're relying on a coin flip for it, and so that
So what do you
there's
think?
that.
What do you think the matchup is percentage wise? Like, what would you say?
60-40 going in Charizard's favor.
Okay, I'm like, what Mew 60-40? That's crazy.
No, it's still favored for Charizard. It's a bad matchup, and that's definitely the deck you feel worst about hitting.
That's kind of crazy though. Your worst matchups are 40-60. That's kind of good. Honestly.
Yeah, Mew is really good. I might be making a mistake by not playing it, but I haven't tried the hammers at all. I've only been playing grabbers. I also haven't tried Luxray because I just don't like that card, but I probably should try it.
Like, Ray's really
Have you
funny.
tried? I know it's funny, but then you only draw 5 cards. But
So, yeah.
Mew is like pretty good into everything that isn't playing a Spiritomb or Charizard in their deck, which is pretty broken place to be. Yeah, I don't really like nothing else on this list. Are you really scared to hit? Like you want to hit everything. Maybe Gardevoir actually is not a great matchup. I don't know. I tried to remedy that with like Avery plus Grabber, Plath combos. Like you got double box plus you can like Psychic Leap and stuff. But have any of you guys like had a significant good experience in the Guardy matchup, or is it kind of the same way I'm feeling?
Guard matchup is definitely hard. That one still is. It's a long match too. But
yeah, it's a long game.
so you're probably if you win game 1 and then lose game 2, you're tied. You never
Yep.
finish in game 3,
So
which is unfortunate.
how do you think that matchup plays out? Do you think you win like 50% of the time with the Box of Disaster combo, or how do you think the matchup goes?
Box of Disaster helps a lot. I know that some Gardevoir lists are cutting the
The vacuum.
vacuum,
Yeah.
and so
That's
there it's a lot
wild.
more important. I still play it in my Guardy. I think vacuum is a very
Yeah.
good card,
I agree.
but I think Mew overall is the more consistent deck.
Yeah,
And so I
Mew
think
is
that's
probably
it.
Mew is probably the most consistent deck on this list so far.
Yeah. Not only does it have like one of the best matchup spreads, but it also is just going to out consistency things. So it like has 2 things going for it because it makes the good matchups even better because you just drop it.
this might be a hot take. Snorlax Stall is pretty consistent.
That is
Like
that's
you get
not-
an Arvin, you get Rodon.
That's
you're
not a hot
going.
take. Yeah. Okay, let's move to that. What do you think, guys? What do you think Snorlax Stall is? I want to put it in B tier for this event.
I don't think it could be higher than B.
Because
I'd be close to putting it C because as soon as you like know what you're doing and play like a tech card that kind of covers the matchup, like playing Turo, Palpad, and Guardy, like you can't even really lose to Snorlax anymore if you know what you're doing. So I don't really think the deck even has matchups.
I think Snorlax Stall goes bottom of B. Or middle of B. I don't really think you can put it in C because then we're in the same situation where Snorlax Stall is going to not be respected.
I think the reason it did so well in that it won Gdansk is the one, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think the reason it did so well there is because everyone just kept not respecting it, and then they had never tested the matchup even, and then you had things like Miraidon losing to Snorlax, Guardy losing to Snorlax, just matchups that you should not be really losing to Snorlax with if you know what you're doing, and you're just like losing that factor. I don't know what you want to call that. Surprise,
Yeah.
but it's not really.
So
Yeah, 'cause just people didn't respect it or test it against
yeah,
it.
but
They
I
were
think
just
that's why
playing,
I
like,
won.
baseballs in there.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think Snorlax is like getting too heavily thought about now, and I think now it's B tier. Because I think now you take a bad Gardevoir matchup, or like not even a bad, you take like a 50-50 Gardevoir matchup. Your Miraidons are ready for you. Your Charizard matchup is like bad if they play Minior, or it's like 50-50 if you play Minior. You're just going into the tournament with 50-50s to pretty much most of the field, or like an unfavored, especially in a super unfavored Tina. Like it's pretty insane. This matchup
Yeah, and
spread is going
Lasso and
quickly
Dex in
down.
general, Entei Valiant is a bad matchup. Like, lost any. So yeah, I just don't think the deck has really any reason to be played at this point.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a side note, but Spiritomb, I think, could be worth
Yeah, also collateral.
considering in a lot of decks right now. Spiritomb's really viable. Like, although Snorlax
Yeah.
isn't popular, it'll still spike tournaments. So if you want to get that read, just play Spiritomb. Also good against Mew, obviously. I think Spiritomb's pretty good. I know.
Spiritomb is very good. I'm playing it in Inteleon Urshifu. Do you guys want to move on to
Yeah,
that?
I agree.
C tier deck. I think it's
No shot.
What?
Brandon,
No
get out of
way.
here.
No
I'm
way.
literally
No,
playing this deck. I'm not
no
even
way
gonna
it's
cap.
this.
This is A tier. This deck is broken.
It's A tier for sure.
A
It's
tier.
so good. So good. What
I
do you
will
lose
say,
to with this deck?
I'm
Literally
having-
nothing.
I'm having my doubts about the deck.
Except for Romy.
I'm
Even
having my
with-
doubts about the deck.
No. Even with Spiritomb, you still lose to Mew. How do you play the Mew tech and then
Disagree.
still lose to that deck?
Disagree. Your
You
Mew
double
matchup's
Clara.
so good.
You just draw 0 cards ever.
They set up
I don't-
2 Mew VMAXs and you cry. How do you get through 2 Mew VMAXs?
You can do it. You can pretty well 2-shot them if there's 2, because you can double gunner plus Alakazam pings, and then even at worst you're 3-shotting. I play Turo, so I can heal your damage. Like, I don't know. I've been testing a lot. I've only tested like 3 or 4 like best of 3s, but I have not felt it to be that difficult with the tomb, especially because I'm playing double Clara. Like, if you could just boss and get rid of it, then it doesn't matter. But
Yes.
Brandon's a hater of the deck.
I will say I'm having my doubts. I was thinking about playing this deck to San Antonio, and I'm still thinking about it, but right now, it's just... James can vouch. Last night, me and him were testing. I was not getting amazing hands.
Oh, yeah.
I was not getting very good hands with Urshifu. But,
He was benching Spiritomb against Control and then also still losing.
yeah.
Interesting.
I will
I mean,
say...
I don't think the Inteleon has a great Snorlax matchup, but
It's not even that. Like, that's not even what matters. But Inteleon Urshifu, I was having a hard time in a Gardevoir. But I don't know why. Like, I just can't set up quickly enough. It's weird, man.
oh,
Even
you
though that
start
match was
gunning
amazing.
Kirlias and they can never one-shot you.
Yeah, you just bench. If your board is triple Inteleon plus Octillery something else, you're most likely winning the game. But it's just weird, man. Like, I haven't been able to... The deck is definitely probably the most inconsistent deck on this list, maybe tied with Chen Pao. But probably tied with Chen Pao. But it's... I think Intel Urshifu is not that consistent. It's not consistent enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll agree. It's one of like the least consistent decks in the format,
but it's
when
so
you,
powerful.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
when
take
you
like,
set
any
up,
bad
it's
matchups
just
at
like
all.
so good.
So, I mean, other than Roaring Moon, I think that matchup's pretty sus. But like, you're playing best of 3. You can dead draw once, and then your deck is just so powerful when you draw any amount of functional hands that you pretty well beat anything. And there's not even any counterplay. Like, if you bench Manaphy Jirachi, that's just 2 free prize cards. Like, it doesn't even do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Me and Lucas played like 15 sets, and I think I was like 10-1 against him with this deck.
I will say,
Against like different matchups.
I will pull it up real quick for... Wait, can you... Never mind. It is fine. I will not worry about it. But I will say I think I've run like over 40-something games with this deck. And that's...
I will
And I ran like...
say, Lucas, you were 1-4 against me, and I was 10-1 against you with the deck.
Yeah. And that's in sets, by the way. So...
That wasn't sets.
I was not doing too well with Urshi. But Landen was 10-1 in sets, which is like 20 and...
Why are you
something.
such a hater on this deck, Brandon? I need to hear, and you need to elaborate why you hate this
Yeah.
deck so much.
I think, as Lucas was saying earlier, it's very inconsistent. It loses to itself
Yeah.
a lot. I think you're playing a 9-round event where all that really matters here is consistency. I mean, you can talk about matchup spreads, but there's going to be so much diversity. It doesn't really matter. You're hitting more like most decks once or twice throughout your tournament. And so you need to be playing the thing that's most consistent.
But I will say, Inteleon Urshifu does take good matchups into the top 3 decks.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
I
I,
mean,
totally
don't
agree
think
that
it has
the
a good
consistency
Gardevoir
is off,
matchup.
but-
I think it has an even Gardevoir matchup. It's not good.
I
Yeah,
also think
I
it has
agree.
like a slightly favored Miraidon matchup, but you
yeah,
have
Mario matchup
you
isn't
have a
that great either. It's like definitely close to even.
you have a really good Zard matchup. You have a 50-50 to maybe 55-45 to Miraidon, and if you're Gardevoir, if you set up against Gardevoir, you're rolling, dude. Roll Tide, you know, like it's really strong when you set
Yeah,
up.
I don't know. My thought process with the deck is if I'm not going to win a regional and if I'm not drawing hot, but if I'm drawing hot, this is definitely the best deck to be playing. Like, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
If you're drawing
You
hot, the
got a high
deck's
roll to win
insane.
anyways.
Yeah.
Broken.
Broken.
But yeah. Anyone have any other thoughts on Intel or Sheet? Because I don't know. I could talk about this deck forever.
I think
full
TM
transparency will probably be playing this.
Yes.
TM Devo did a lot for the deck.
Yeah.
In theory, Gardevoir's dropping Zacian should also make your matchup better, but like again, like
Screamtail
still just have
Cape
that
is still
consistency.
good. Screamtail's Cape is still good in the
Yeah.
sheet.
Not everyone's
Mhm.
playing the Cape though. Some people cut Zacian and also don't play Cape,
That's crazy.
which I think is
wild.
crazy. I think you have to play
You
at
can
least
play
one
one
like,
of them.
boom card.
I think Cape.
Yeah.
I think Cape Screamtail is the way to go with Guardy.
It also gives you like the cool play of like damaging it and then lost vacuuming something so you can clear a spot on your bench and or activate reversal / counter catcher.
Activate Iono
which is
to
pretty
1.
sick.
It's sick.
Yeah, no, it does work. It definitely comes up, and it's like kind of, yeah, it's also kind of attacking to Snorlax a little bit that way because you can retreat something if it's not a non-psychic type. But yeah, I don't know. Intel she's sick. That's what I have to say about it.
Is pretty good. If I'm able to figure it out, the consistency issues, I will probably play the deck. Deck's very good.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the next deck I'm considering for this event, which is Lost Box Charizard.
Not Cloth.
I mean, I'm kind of considering it. I've not played many games with the deck, but I've played Lost Box for a long time. I love Lost Box Zard. Absolutely such a cool deck, but it's insanely hard to play, and you sometimes like you kind of need to sequence everything correctly, and you kind of need to play correctly on all your turns, or else you're just gonna fall behind. So, what do you guys think about Lost Box Charizard? I think this deck is insanely good.
I did just want to read. It's pretty good.
Yeah. What do y'all think?
I'm not sure on it because like 2 of the top 3 decks can tech Jirachi for you, and then you have a really hard time. And Miraidon plays Hands, which if you don't draw well enough, Hands will just destroy you instantly. So I'm not sure on it, but if you hit the right weekend when people aren't playing the Jirachis, but I think Christian did.
Yeah.
Probably no one was playing Jirachi except for like maybe Zard. I think the deck is probably just really good.
I will say a lot of Jirachi is probably going to be in lists this weekend,
Yeah.
which makes the deck a lot
Yeah.
worse. So, I don't know. It's something to think about for me. I'm thinking I probably won't end up on Lost Box Zard. It's a possibility, but I don't know. Lost Box Zard's good. Very consistent deck. Brandon, what do you think about it?
I'm gonna be honest. I've been not really thinking about it. I think it's okay. I don't think it's better than regular Zard,
Agreed, yeah.
and I would not be playing it. And I don't think it's a good call for this weekend.
No, Lost Box Charizard is Lost Box Radiant Zard.
Oh, I'm very tired. My bad. I thought you were talking about the
That's
Lost Zard deck that was popping up in Brazil. No, Sable Zard I actually really like. I think that it has a better matchup in Gardevoir than other Lost Box variants.
Yeah.
I think.
Sans Jirachi though. Also, you could consider like playing a Lost City because you're already playing Counter Catcher, and then you could just like Counter Catcher spit the Jirachi. I don't know if that's consistent enough though, because you're already playing double Raihan. Like it wouldn't be that hard to pull off.
No,
Yeah.
I think you're chilling with that.
That doesn't
Yeah.
seem bad. Well, I think we could get that into the list. This deck's very strong if you can deal with Jirachi.
Yeah, no, totally.
Sable's Zard, it's fine.
Being able to chain Zards, like I remember in Portland regionals last year, I swear I was gonna play against this guy Sam Huff in the finals. He was playing Sable Zard, and he was playing like 4 Pokegear, multiple Raihans, Gates, double Turo, like pretty close to this list, and he could just Charizard whenever he wanted to. And if you can like attack with Charizard twice, maybe even 3 times in a game, the card is so powerful. So I'm not at all surprised that it did well.
Isn't the power of the deck too the fact that it just has so much space you can run the tech options for the matchups you
Yeah,
want?
like you don't have to play like 4 gate, a bunch of energies. Like you just you're right, Brandon. There is a lot of space to play with, and you can kind of just play what techs you want. And yeah, that's how I feel about that deck.
The most flexible deck on this list, I believe.
Lost Box
Yeah.
Zard? Yes, very, very
What do you guys think of
flexible.
the other Lost Zone variants? I think Tina's like A tier for sure. I don't know about Turbo. I think Turbo's probably B. But we can stick with Tina for now.
So,
I think Tina's better than Charizard. Lost Box.
I do too.
we
Yeah.
gotta talk about this. Roaring Moon in Tina.
The Roaring Moon's really good in this deck.
In Tina.
I got clapped at the League Cup last weekend by Roaring Moon Tina. It was not even close. The guy dogged me. Have you guys tried Roaring Moon and Tina?
I have a lot of buddies that are on that deck right now, and I think it is very strong.
It's so good.
Yeah, I still haven't made a decision on what I'm playing for San Antonio, but this is definitely up there. Roaring Moon Tina.
Lucas is considering every deck.
Being able to start Requiem twice is pretty good.
Yeah, it
You
is.
absolutely clap Charizard.
Mm-hmm. I was
Like,
playing
you
Charizard at the
think
Cup,
about it.
and
Oh, that
literally had no outs at all. He just went Path, turn 2 Star Requiem, and then turn 3, he just had the Tina. I mean, when I say turn 2 Star Requiem, I mean the whatever Roaring Moon's attack is, but it's just like being able to Requiem at 7 is insane. And you can set up checkmates really easily. Like you can have Tina, and then you can have the Roaring Moon on the bench, like both fully powered up, so you can go Requiem plus have the instant KO lined up for the next turn. Or it's pretty easy to like reuse the Moon too with like Super Rod plus Mirage Gate again, obviously. But yeah, I think this is way better than playing Water Energies at this point.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. Roaring Moon
I would not
is
be surprised to
insane.
see this in top 8 at all.
Roaring Moon
It's
Tina
so
is
good.
very strong. If anyone listening is thinking of Tina, try out Roaring Moon. Very, very, very strong. Try out Roaring
James,
Moon.
are
and
you a
Tina.
Roaring Moon enjoyer in Tina?
James?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear my name. I've seen people talking about it, but I haven't tried it myself. So I have no opinion on it.
Play it in an online tournament. I swear you'll win. It's
Yeah,
you're
I'm
good and
gonna
it's a
I'm
good
gonna
bet.
try it too.
Again, I've been thinking of switching off from Ryan, so maybe I'll give that a go.
New deck for you. But yeah, Tina is pretty sick. I mean, with Drachi coming back in again, it kind of makes it harder because you can't do like the Roxanne Catcher Lost Mine plays, but that doesn't matter. Your deck's still good. You can still
Your
one
deck
shot
is
stuff.
still insane. Deck is so
Yeah,
good.
Tina's really good. I mean, Tina is also one of the clunkier decks in the format, but
Not really. No.
yeah.
I
Ryan, what's the
disagree.
difference? No, it's clunky.
This
Not
Seeking,
that
Ryan, what's the
clunky.
difference between Intel Urshi and Tina? They're both clunky decks. Why do you like Tina
What? They're
more?
not. Okay, Tina's not clunky, dude.
It is.
I disagree
it
with
can
you.
You know,
it can
just
be.
sit there and
Sometimes we get those
starve
bad
it
hands.
until they set up. Inteleon just doesn't set up and then cries.
No.
Valid.
Okay, we're having this conversation. Tina is not clunky. We're playing 4 Jet Energies. We're playing a bunch of energies for Greninja. You're playing the 4 VIP, like double nest, 4 Comfey or whatever. Like, this deck's not inconsistent. You just turn 1, you go Comfey. Worst comes to worst, Comfey, Jet Energy to Tina, Abyss Seeking. You have 3 in Lost Zone. Chorus, double Comfey, whatever. Deck is insane. I think
I
people
like how
give
Lucas
away...
the entirety of the podcast so far has said Tina is good every week, but has never played it.
Yeah. It's very
It's a
strong.
fake Meta believer. Meta
Yeah.
manipulation.
Okay,
A little bit
so
of manipulation.
I want to ask. We're cutting the 3 water energies for 3 dark energies. What are we cutting for Roaring Moon?
One of the stabilize.
Yep.
Yeah, one Sableye felt fine. I kind of like 2, but like if they're playing Jirachi, it doesn't do anything anyways, and a lot of people are going to be playing Jirachi. So
And it's really only
I
a
think
way
this
to go
weekend, one
Roxanne
Sableye is
Catcher.
fine.
It's really only a way to go Roxanne
Yeah.
Catcher Sableye.
Gives you another out into things for sure. What do you guys think about like the Turbo? What even is Turbo anymore? I guess that would be considered like the Iron Hands Roaring Moon list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dragonite does not exist anymore.
I think
That's not
this
good.
deck. Are we considering this to be?
I'm it's here for
Are
I
this.
we
think it's top of B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Big
think it's
top
worse
of
than
it.
Tina and Charizard myself. Like, I don't know. Right before this, I listened to Omnipoke Stuttgart analysis, and he had a really good way of saying why he doesn't like the EX versions, because you against like other Iron Hands decks have to answer the Iron Hands with Roaring Moon, and then they just 2/2/2 you because they have a second Iron Hands. Most Miraidon decks are playing 2 hands and or Super Rod. Whereas the Charizard version, you can respond on the Iron Hands with a 1 prizer, so you keep your prize trade, and Iron Hands doesn't just beat you, because answering Iron Hands with another 2 prizer is just equal trading, but you're behind a turn.
I think it depends on what deck you're being Iron Hands into, because Rhydon, which is like the premier hands deck right now, you can just Kyogre them. which will save you
That's
a
true.
turn and you can win the prize trade.
That's true. Can you get to Kyogre though?
Yeah.
If
I played a little bit with when like Tord first played the I guess
if
quote
you're
unquote
getting
janky Lost Box.
yeah with the Palkia,
It happens 100%.
Yeah, I just struggle to like if you're getting turn 1 or turn 2 Iron Hands plus a Judge / Iono, and then have to answer the hands, and then the next turn you're Kyogring. How does like with 4 turns at most to get to the bottom of your deck, which seems
I
tough.
think any Lost Box deck, if you're getting turn 1 hands, you're losing that game more often than not.
Yeah, you're probably pretty toast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Almost any
Yeah.
prize deck.
I think that with the Tinas, this deck does kind of get a boost with that 1/1 Tina line. That's insane. 1/1 Tina line is so sick.
Yeah, it's kind of mocking the Tina Royman thing. You're just playing a 1/1 Tina instead of the 3.
Yeah, that's true. You're just playing less Tinas, and you're playing an Iron Hands. I mean, I think that the Lost Box variant probably beats Zard because you have your Roaring Minion and your Tina. Your Miraidon matchup might be weird if they get like a turn 1 hands. Gardevoir matchup's probably fine because you have the Iron Hands.
What if
But
they're playing Jirachi?
if they're playing Jirachi, it's bad. Yeah.
Because Gardevoir can just answer the Iron Hands with a 1 prize if you're not. The only reason it's good in Miraidon is because you're putting it down before they even have Curlias in play. But
Mew
like you're not
matchup's
hitting turn 1
fine.
hands with Lost Box.
Mew matchup's also fine.
I mean, you can. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tested those Lost on variants at all, but I'm
Me
just
neither.
from like concept and just what experience I have in this format. I don't see a reason. Well, there is a reason, obviously, because people play it, but I don't think it's as good as Tina or Charizard Lost Box. Like, I would rather play either of those 2 decks before I played like the Roaring Man thing.
Yeah. Okay. What deck do you guys want next? Aurel, did we have any final thoughts about Lost Box?
Not really.
Yeah. Okay.
Nope.
So what deck do you guys want next?
Let's
Claw.
talk about
Just dog.
Ow.
Claw.
Here.
No. Claw.
Okay,
Oh,
James, you
man.
made us put Cloth on here. Why is Cloth here? I didn't even think of putting this on the tier list.
Fine type guy beats Miraidon. Grass type guy beat Charizard. Don't worry about Gardevoir. But it beats 2 of the good decks.
Also, don't worry about Mew or Inteleon or Tina or Lost Box Zard or Lost
Okay, why is
Box.
it in
Listen.
C tier?
It's in C tier for a reason, but I think it is worth ranking.
Yeah, I guess it has seen an amount. It has a limitless page, I think.
It's better than
so.
Goldango,
yeah.
so it's in C tier.
It made
Yeah.
more day 2s than Chien-Pao,
Chien-Pao is terrible.
which is actually crazy because Chien-Pao in theory is just like a way better deck, which it probably is, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any thoughts about Cloth before we go put Chen-Pao in D
Yeah.
tier?
Brandon also said Cloth was good, so I want to hear what he has to say.
Honestly, you do find into other single prize decks, Cloth has an awkward amount of HP for them to hit into.
True.
That's valid. Was that 130?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's a good
Cloth
amount
has
of hit points.
120, Brute Bonnet has 130. Does it? Wait,
Or
I'm
180.
actually gonna
180
check
usually.
this.
Brute Bonnet has to have the tool attached to poison stuff, so it's typically
Cloth
gonna
has 120,
get
Brute
extreme
Bonnet
HP.
has...
Right.
Lucas is down the rabbit hole
120,
here.
120. Okay.
But yeah, it gets sauced on by Gardevoir. That matchup's so bad for it.
Yeah. Yeah, if they just attack with like a Guardi EX, don't they just resist fighting and then you do nothing? Yeah.
And it can Turo.
That's valid. True.
Yeah.
Gardevoir with Turo is really good. Like Guardi EX having 310 hit points and then just being able to Turo itself is kind of broken.
Yeah.
Chien-Pao though.
So, wait.
Is Chien-Pao also D tier?
It's not D tier.
I don't
No,
think we can
it's
put
not D
Cloth in
tier.
C if we're gonna put Chien-Pao in D.
See.
I think Chen-Pao, it's a consistent deck, it's an A tier. If it's consistent, it's
But
A.
it's not.
But it's like
just not.
it's like mid. I would probably put it like
I wouldn't even put it in B. It has literally what
C,
0
top
D2s?
C.
Yeah, it's better than Cloth. Get that
how
out of B
many
tier.
how
Get
many
out of here.
how many people were on Chen-Pao for the tournament?
I don't know,
Stats.
like 1% at most.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just like Chen-Pao in theory seems broken. Like you have hands, you have the one shot with Chen-Pao, you have spread with Ninja, but like if your
Yeah.
deck doesn't work ever, then there's no point in playing the game.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. I've played Chen-Pao. Like, why was Chen-Pao good before this deck came out, and then it just turned into a pile? Like it was making top 8s like every regional. What happened?
Because we added Iron Hands and Earthen Vessel and cut Crosswitch Cologne.
Yeah. Cologne just like removes boards alone removes
Yeah.
boards, and hands doesn't.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dropped 10 POW Iron Hands pretty quick at the beginning of this format. Although I did lose to a straight 10 POW at a league challenge last weekend.
Straight Jump Pow's not that bad. It's okay.
Yeah, just go back to the CrossFit clone stuff, I guess. But I don't know. I don't think that we really should be thinking too much about Chen Pao for the Texas regionals of this weekend. But yeah.
I agree.
Brian, have you tried Fusion Mew at all?
I've tried that a little bit. I like the Genesect build better. I do think in the mirror match, Fusion Mew has a slight edge over Genesect.
Really? I kind of felt it was a little. I mean, obviously, if they like sauce on you going second, but like you have Path Iono and they don't have Path Iono as much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't tested that much very much, but when it like before this set came out, when I was like how they've been separate decks for like months and months now, I've felt that DTE was favored traditionally in the past, but that was not with this set's testing. I don't know. How do you guys feel about Fusion Mew compared to Double Turbo? Because I personally like it way less, but
I think you need the disruption.
I think
Yeah.
Fusion Mew is nice because it prevents against Tomb Tech.
yeah. That's
Like,
personally my only reason why I would play it is if you're expecting Tomb and still want to play Mew, because then you can actually beat it more often. But
yeah.
I would just be playing Mew, the more powerful version, and just saying I'm dodging Tomb, because you're probably having a bad run if you're hitting Tomb every round anyways.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Fusion Mew, it's fine. It's more aggressive than the Mew Genesect build, but it's less consistent. And
Yeah.
Judge Path.
I've also hated seeing lists without 2-path, 2-vacuum. Like, if you're not playing 2-path, why are you playing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played Fusion Mew, Brandon? Because I know you like tested the Deep a lot. But
I played Fusion Mew a little bit. I'm all in. I'm playing Mew Genesect for the...
yes. We're not. I like to make this known. We are not meta manipulators. I am legitimately playing Italian Urshifu to this event, and everyone can know
I
about
have
it. I
no
do not
idea
care.
what I'm playing.
Lucas is the
Lucas
meta
is going to
manipulator.
decide in the hotel the night before.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Is. James, have you played Fusion Mew?
Nope, not since Worlds.
Fair. Where are we putting it?
Yeah, he day 2'd World, which is pretty sick.
It's broken. Yeah, James is also a regional.
Mew was
champion.
really
Yeah,
good.
Some respect on Professor
James
Pope.
is also a Fresno regional champion.
We have 3 regional champions and a future regional champion on the pod today. So
Yeah, come on, Brandon, you're slacking.
So you-
Not true. I gotta get the numbers up. My bad.
No, I'm joking. You're
Brandon's
very,
goated.
very good. Yeah, very good player.
Brandon doesn't give himself enough credit. He's really good at the game.
I
But
agree.
yeah, where are we putting
I
Fusion
don't
Mew?
I think Fusion Mew goes B tier. I think it's better than Shen Pao and Cloth.
I think
Wait,
it's top of B tier
is
personally, but I don't think it's.
Is Cloth like in B?
No, Lucas.
No, it's not that good. Don't worry.
No. I think that Fusion Mew is top of B tier.
You think it's better than the
I think it's better than Lost Bone. Yeah. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, you're still playing Mew, and Mew is insane. It's just a worse Mew.
Wait, let me double check
into
this.
a-
Let me double check this. Why would?
Oh dear.
Sorry. Why would there was a lot of Lost Box in Stuttgart. You had the Lost Zone Box Paradox. Lost Box Paradox is actually a sick name. You had 1 and then Tord, which was 2. Yeah, like you had 2 in top 16. The deck cannot be that bad.
I'm not saying it's bad.
But like compared to Fusion Mew I don't think even was on the graphic. It was 18th. Was the highest placing Fusion Mew.
I don't know. Like every tournament's gonna have like every match is like 1 away from making like top 32, top 16, top 8. Like the difference is not that much.
I will say
in, like,
though, I feel
placements.
like you're disrespecting the Lost Box build.
I mean, maybe I am.
Those Lost Box builds had the surprise factor, and people didn't.
Yeah,
know how to
people
play
were
against them,
not respecting
which is
it.
why it did as well as it did.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Going forward,
Once people
it's
start
not
playing
used.
Jirachis again, it's gonna be a different story. Like I don't think Lost Box can run as unchecked.
I think the thing I always come back to with Lost Box is that Tord was the first one to play it, and Tord like got a ridiculous amount of championship points with Gardevoir. So for him to stop playing Gardevoir, Lost Box must have been really good. And so I think that alone is a good testament to how good the deck actually is. If Tord thinks it's that obviously
Didn't he
it's
say he
playing.
was having fun on his Twitter though? I swear. Maybe he's just trolling all of us.
I think he always has fun. I think he likes playing Pokemon.
That's so true.
I
That's
also
so
like playing
fact.
Pokemon.
Bro, Lance,
You know,
you
excited
should
to
you
announce-
should
If
you
you
should
get
quit
a
your
GP
job and
Max
just play
Rapid
more Pokemon. Boom.
I'm recording a podcast at work right now. I think I can play Pokemon just the same.
Nah, quit your job.
Nah, this 48-hour shift of me doing like 4 hours of work is pretty hype.
Yeah, that's sick. Okay.
Join the ambulance service, guys.
Yeah, honestly, if y'all are looking to get a paramedic, message Landon. Become a paramedic. Message Landon for advice.
Yeah, that's right. Roaring Moon is better than people are saying it is. That's what I will say.
B tier.
I think
it's like-
really good.
I think it's
C.
better than Snorlax. I put it between Lost Bone Blocks and Snorlax. James thinks C.
See,
Why?
you don't beat Zard. You don't beat Guardy. Marion's more winnable, but if they know how to play it, it can be rough. Like, I just don't think you beat the best decks with that thing.
Yeah. You don't beat Intel or
Yes.
She. Well, you can if you're playing in the
You
capsule
do, yeah,
build.
definitely you do.
Oh yeah,
No,
my
you-
bad. Yeah, you do.
I think Intel Urshi is like one of the Roaring Moon's best matchups. I know I was like in theory testing it, like they'll Calamitous or whatever, is it frenzied gouging, and then they have 40 hit points left, but you still have to hit quite a bit to like get 2 damage counters in the active. You can't just, I guess you could example like Yoga Loop, but you just have to hit a lot under a lot of early pressure, which is not very easy with Intel Urshi because we've discussed how not consistent it is. So in theory that matchup seems fine, but I think that's probably Intel Urshi's worst matchup total.
Until Urshi's funny because your win con with Roaring Moon is sudden death.
True. That is
Sometimes,
broken
yeah.
part about that deck. It's like really silly. I played like a couple tournaments where I've seen people do that, and then they just dog you in sudden death because they just get thrown an attack. And it's not even fair.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I'm okay with putting it a B.
James is the only one that thinks C. Why do you think it's C? Other than like, I just think I know you explain it, but it's just consistent, and consistency does things. What's the list? Lucas, can you pull the list up that got 9th or 10th at this regional? Because I know it was different. Like, wasn't he playing Town Stores?
I don't even know what the lists are looking right now.
Most people have been playing like the Pokestop cross switcher thing. This guy, yeah, 4 Town Store. That's wild.
One
Wasn't
Galarian
wasn't there water energy in this?
No.
No? Okay.
I think you should. I don't think playing water energy is enough of a downside. Like you should play 2 waters.
Yeah.
You just have the
Yeah.
option to Shuriken.
I
It's
think
not that hard.
there's no reason to not play. It's just it's just a nerf to your deck when you already play Energy Switch.
Yeah. Plus, as soon as you reveal water, they have 1 less bench spot because they have to put Manaphy down. I
True.
do really like Moltres. I think Moltres is sick. I've been a Moltres enjoyer in this deck since day 1 because it just makes your dark energy switches 4 more Dark Patch.
3
I
more
don't
Dark
really see how
Patch.
this. What if we played Lost City in Roaring Moon?
What do you think about that? Why are we playing that?
Because you can beat Guardy.
Meteor!
I'm speculating.
I don't
No,
think-
no,
I don't
Lucas.
think that does anything.
I don't think it does anything for you. I think Town Store is still just better.
Yeah. I think your stadium style needs to be something that helps you turbo because that's your strength.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, that's. I don't know how much else I have to say
Town
about
Store
Roaring
doesn't
Moon,
really
but-
help you turbo though. You're just like thinning your
Sealstone?
card. Sealstone, I guess.
Yeah, it's 4. You have 5 Seal Stones. Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's all I have really to say about Roaring Moon. I think it's like a fine aggressive deck. It's just like kind of been popping up in top 16s with like a pretty low play rate. So that's why I think it's like worth thinking about.
Yeah,
Plus
that's
it-
fair.
Yeah, it's just consistent beat stick deck. That works for me.
I think this
yeah.
goes. I think it goes B tier.
Maybe bottom of B tier, or maybe James is.
I think Stall's
I don't know.
better.
I just don't.
I can compromise
Yeah.
the bottom of you, but I think Stall's better.
Yeah, I agree. At bottom of B. Bottom of B.
I mean, is Stall better? It loses to Lost Box, loses to Zard, loses to Gardevoir most of the time, loses to a. No, it's like beats Zard that isn't playing Minior. And then Miraidon is like a fine matchup. Inteleon Urshi is just like probably slightly favored. Mew
Why is
Genesect
Dart going to play Minior though?
because it's good
They're
for
not.
Snorlax and Guardy, but like I think it's better to be playing.
We've-
It's
not.
better to
It's
be playing.
actually horrible into Guardy.
It is.
Yeah, it's not good in the
'Cause-
Guardy.
It's not good at all. Because whenever I tested it, like in theory, it seems great, and I was talking so much smack about how good it was last week. But it has 2 retreat cost, and then if you don't have Manaphy, then they just Screamtail and leave your thing that does 0 damage in the active, and you have to find a switch card. which is really bad. I actually was losing more games playing Minior than I was winning
That's
against
true.
Gardevoir by.
It makes your deck worse and text for
yeah.
a matchup that is less than like 5% of the meta.
And it doesn't even beat Snorlax. Like, I played Snorlax at the challenge I went to last weekend, and I only got to one prize, and then we tied because that deck can't win in best of one. But yeah, like, I didn't. If you don't play Turo / Escape Rope or like Turo Palpad, then the Minior just gets stuck active, and then they just Pidgeot loop you, and you take no prize cards. So Pidgeot can't be one shot by anything. So yeah, Minior is kind of terrible. I rescind all things I said last week about how good Minior was. That card is awful.
So I think a better tech spot for Zard right now is Justified Gloves.
Yeah, Justified Gloves and Zard is really sick, especially with like how much of a percentage we're seeing it. Like, just winning the mirror is pretty nice.
Yeah, it just allows you to one-shot a Zard.
Into Roaring Moon.
Yeah, it just allows you to one-shot a Zard at some point during the game. No, jeez, wait, I'm gonna fall out. I cut
Minior for Justified Gloves. Plus, having a third tool for Arven Ultra Ball is really important, because like Arvening for one card, your hand is so small to play Ultra Balls with, and having like multiple disposable tools for free fodder is pretty important from my experience, at least. But yeah, Minior's bad. Snorlax is play fine, and Anti-Valiant. My opinions on this deck is I don't think there's any reason to play this over Inteleon or Urshifu at all. I think it's just like a verse version of that deck at this point.
I don't know, man. I was thinking about putting it here.
No.
I think
That's wild.
That's not there.
I would C tier maybe. Like,
what?
Top
No,
of C tier
no. We're not going C tier.
Yeah, Lucas,
it was
tell
really
me one
good
reason,
for a little bit.
Yeah, tell me one reason you'd play this over Intel Urshifu. I don't think you can.
Way more consistent. Insanely more, way more consistent. Deck is turbo instead of Intel Urshifu. On the first turn of the game, you can donk people, which I don't think is a reasonable thing to be expecting to do. But with early game pressure and Yoga Loops, you're actually just like beating Zard and Guardy. Like, well, maybe not Zard. Zard is like bad if they ever set up one.
Urshifu beats those matchups anyways.
But it's
like, you play TM Devo, you can beat Zard.
Yeah, TM Devo's nice.
Yeah.
Miraidon, your matchup's 50-50. Or like probably maybe a bit lower than that. But also Valiant's like not bad into most decks. When you play Bravery Charm, your Mew matchup is just forcing them to play like 16,000 power tablets.
They play 4 Lost Vacuum.
Oh wait, sure,
never mind. Never mind. Absolute horrible job of selling this deck, and you've just told me why it's worse than Intel Urshifu again.
But it's more consistent.
It's not worth for a worse matchup spread. Like, I don't know. I don't think personally there's any reason to play this deck.
You also take a better Tina matchup. You also take a way better Tina matchup, probably.
Probably.
In theory, I haven't tested this deck much. But
what do you guys think about Anti-Iron Valiant? Do you agree with me or Lucas?
I'm agreeing with you. I do not think it deserves to be A tier. I think it should be even below Roaring Moon.
No.
Honestly.
Okay, we need to readjust this. We need to readjust.
You're the only one that wants to readjust. Lucas, you're taking the L here. Anti-Iron Valiant's top of C.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's crazy. This is way too low for this deck.
It is not. The deck is kind of
bad. This deck has to be here at least.
It's not. Do you guys disagree with me? I don't think I'm out of line at all. I think this deck is pretty bad.
It was really good the first week when people didn't know about it and weren't prepared for it, but now like people know what to do against it.
Yeah, and it's just like you run out of gas. Like, Intel Urshifu just has more damage counters to place throughout the game and is able to more easily execute combos because you have Rapid Strike Search, and you just, I don't know. I don't see any reason. Plus, you lose against Intel Urshifu because water typing.
True.
So, the matchup spread is just worse. Intel Urshifu has no bad matchups except for Roaring Moon, and Anti-Iron Valiant has a significant amount of bad matchups. Like, you don't want to hit Mew, you don't want to hit Intel Urshifu, you probably, I guess... Those are probably the only matchups that are like significantly different. And then Miraidon is like even instead of favored. Just feels like a worse version of the same kind of concept.
Your Tina matchup, though, it's better. Most likely, I don't know.
Tina matchup's fine with Intel Urshifu.
Like, it's fine, but with the Roaring Moon variant, you just get slapped.
With Intel Urshifu?
Yeah, Roaring Moon Tina, you just get slapped.
I kind of disagree.
I don't disagree because I made the
I don't know.
pick.
Are we missing any decks here? Like, I'm pretty sure we have all the top things. I don't think
Do
we're
you
missing
guys
a
do you
deck.
guys
to look at
wanna
Lord
do you guys wanna put Lugia Archeops on the tier list?
Like, Lugia's
No.
obvious. It's like, I mean, if we have
Lugia fell
Goldango
off
here,
so
should we
hard.
put Lugia in D? Like, it's better than Goldango.
Is it better than
Not by
Goldango?
Not by much.
I think anything's better than Goldango, but it is close, I guess.
What about Palkia?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
actually,
yeah,
that's a good thing to
let's
throw on.
put that on. Okay, where are we
That did-
thinking? Oh
Could
jeez,
switch
what?
them.
what do we think of
I
type?
don't know, Palkia's probably C. I think it's
Probably better than
Valiant.
Oh, dude,
Better than Tay.
dude, probably honestly.
It beats Anti-Valiant.
Yeah, the Ice
True.
Rider's pretty
Yeah.
sick. How does Miraidon answer the Ice Rider? Like, that's what the card's for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't answer
They
that.
can they can hand it for like an Ginkgo Miraidon hand. So if they get the first attack before you, they can Miraidon's hands, and then they like win in 3 attacks like
Oh, that's
they
true.
usually would.
That's true. I guess you just use it contextually, I guess. But yeah, Palkia's kind of cool. That one guy got top 4, second, top 8,
Top
somewhere.
four, top four,
Oh yeah.
top 4. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't-
don't know.
I don't think
Palkia's
this-
like kind of fine.
yeah, Palkia's good, but I mean, it's just kind of like water box.
I think it's just kind of carried by turn 2 Shuriken for the most part.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Actually,
played like the Chen-Pao EX Palkia Bibarel deck for a while. That deck was pretty good back before this set came out, and this is pretty close to just like an updated version of that now. I don't know. I honestly don't know that much about Palkia.
yeah, I mean, Palkia's strong. I haven't tested the deck much either. I think we can. I think we should just start rearranging the tiers. Maybe put this here, but like.
Bruh. No,
I'm
I think
joking.
we actually we had a pretty W list here. Like, I think this is pretty well accurate.
Do you think this is accurate? You do.
Is there any objections to this? Any objections for anybody on this tier list?
I think it's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, Goldango is like, honestly, like, below.
Although, I have a little bit to say about Goldango. Brad at our league was playing the Palkia Goldango thing, and that was actually kind of sick, but not really, because you didn't draw any cards. But like, you could do turn 2 Cologne Palkia combo, so you just got carried by Palkia.
So just play
and then you were
Palkia.
playing Goldango. Yeah, that's pretty, that's pretty what I got to. But Brad was like convinced the deck was cool. Shout out to Brad. I don't think he watches this, but if he does, that's like how we shout out
He's
James
probably-
every
he's
week. And I
probably-
hope he watches.
He's probably playing Teamfight Tactics or something. Bro, he was trying to
Yeah.
get me on Teamfight Tactics the entire, like, we were walking back from the Stronghold Cup to the car because we parked, like, 2 lots back, and he was, like, explaining to me what Teamfight Tactics was, and it actually doesn't sound like a bad game.
I have no idea what it is, but it doesn't Pokemon cards.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Um,
this list seems
So
accurate.
yeah, finalized list. I think the final exercise to do is like what everyone.
Okay,
Brandon,
maybe,
if you don't want to leak, you can.
maybe we should rearrange this S tier.
Oh yeah, maybe that's a good point actually. I think Gardevoir's probably the top of S.
Do you think it is?
I can
I don't
agree
know. I
with
don't
that.
think it matters.
I mean, it kind of does. I mean, I would say it probably goes like that.
I like it. I think that's like the best order of the 3.
Cause Zard's like
Mm.
more inconsistent than Guardy, but it's more powerful than Guardy, if you understand what I mean. Probably. I mean, it takes good matchups. Maybe it's not more powerful than Guardy. I think Guardy's just top of S tier.
I think they're all good decks, and they all belong in S tier in no real particular order, but that's probably the order they should be in. But yeah, I think the final exercise of today
Wait.
is to ask what each.
Wait.
I know James is. Oh,
Wait.
what, Lucas?
I don't think we have A tier sorted out.
What?
I think Tina goes.
It looks fine. It looks fine to me.
I think Tina.
I think
goes-
this is like finalized and good. I
Okay.
have no objections
Okay.
to this.
Okay, we're good.
What would all of you be playing if I know James isn't going, but what would you be playing if you're going? And if we don't want to leak Brandon, that's fine, but I have leaked intensely.
I'm playing Mew.
Yeah.
I'm already locked in. Deck's leaked up. It's in my bag. It's ready to go. I'm
Is
playing
it
Mew.
have you submitted your deck list too?
Not yet, because I still don't know if I want to play Grabber or Hammer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Valid take.
What about you, James?
I'd play Miraidon, but I'd use the time I have left to test the Charizard matchup more.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. What about you, Landon?
Intel Urshi, unless last minute the deck craps his pants, in which case I'll be playing Double Turbo Mew. I'd probably say play whatever Brandon chooses if I'm playing Mew, but I'm probably playing Intel or She like 100%. This deck's broken unless something really changes in 4 days.
I have no idea what I'm playing for this event.
Classic Lucas.
I think I'm no. Hey. Here's my like top 6. I think it.
6?
I don't know.
Top 6 is crazy.
I think
Half the tier list and saying
Lucas is just testing every deck on the tier list.
I
He just is
literally
testing
no.
everyone.
Yeah,
Goldango.
I've extensively tested Goldango. Okay, no. I think it goes like I think my 6 decks that I'm like semi considering is, or it might be 5. It's Zard, Mew, Intel, Tina, Lost Box Zard, and then like surprisingly,
Literally
I
every
was
deck
I was
that's in it.
thinking about this deck today when I was on my way to guitar lessons.
Bro is shredding to thinking about anti-Iron Valiant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm on like pretty much half the decks on this tier list. I don't know, man.
Even Goldango.
Even Goldango.
Okay, well, if that's the tier list, do you guys have any final thoughts? More fun facts, shoutouts?
As I've thought about it more, I just want to defend Lucas. I realized that for Worlds, he was set on Giratina for like several weeks. And for Fresno, he was set on Arctura like when he showed up at the hotel. So, yeah, I'm giving Lucas credit.
Yeah, I don't
That's true.
like not every event I go in with like just
most.
3,000 cards in my bag, and I'm like, bro, help me. I did that in Milwaukee though. I flew to Toronto to carpool with some of the Toronto locals, and the dad had like this van set up with a table in the back. So
That is the broken van.
yeah,
sounds
that
sick.
van is sick. So I think when I went there, I was on I was on Raymond Long's like single prize Articuno Lost Box. That deck just felt so mid. So on the way there, I decided to swap my entire deck, play Arctura Umbreon, and I owned like 8 cards for the deck. So I picked up 52 cards like the day before the event.
Sheesh.
And I was
You owned the 4/4 Arceus?
no, I owned the 4 Ultra Ball and the 4 Nest Ball.
No, Arceus.
He didn't bring any. He does. He just didn't bring the cards.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
I kid you not, I bought like the VMAXs, and then I was running between the 2 rooms that we had because we had like a bunch of people there, and I was like, bro, can I borrow this card? Can I borrow this card? Can I borrow energies? I don't have energies. And it was so fun. I swapped the entire. It's like, okay, long story. It's fine. It was cool, but last minute decisions do sometimes work out for me. So I mean, we'll see. It's just kind of about meta call and consistency.
Yeah, that's why you should play Intel. But yeah, final thoughts. Anybody? Shoutouts. Like I said, more fun facts. People. Anything you want people to know about you before we go?
James, you gotta shout out your parents, man.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Shout out to my
Brandon.
parents. They just drive me to tournaments, and my dad walks around and does stuff. So he's happy somehow, but yeah. Shout out to my parents who drive me around. Am I allowed to shout out my sponsor?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, shout out to my sponsor, Card Art. They're in Sunnyvale, California. If you live there, go there. They have tournaments. They're cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Use
Mr.
promo
Sims is
code
sponsored.
James Sims on.
No,
Card-
there's no promo code.
I know.
I don't have a promo code.
I know.
Brandon.
I guess shout out Ian. He's the man that goes to every event with me. He's a pretty
Ian's
cool
the goat.
I love him.
Yeah.
It's not Ian
No shout out
Robb,
to your
right?
Parents?
Is it Ian Robb?
No.
No.
Okay. I thought
It's
so.
a
I
VGC
thought
GGC
so.
player.
Ian.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. Ian's chills. You'll meet him in the room this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ian's a homie. Shout out your parents, Brandon. Come on, they're chills.
My parents.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
okay. Have you met my mom? I know.
Yeah,
have
my
not,
mom.
but Angie
My mom
talks about how cool she
adores
is.
your mom. My mom adores your mom.
No,
That's true.
my mom plays Monopoly with your mom on her phone all the time. She tells me about the little Monopoly games.
Let's be.
My mom doesn't even like Monopoly, and she has like the Monopoly game, and she plays it so much. It's insane.
Your mom doesn't
Only to
like
play with
Monopoly.
Brandon's
That's
mom.
crazy.
My mom does not like Monopoly.
Okay, I think that's a good place to end. Unless anyone else has anything else to say.
Shout out to Monopoly.
Yeah.
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 Hasbro.
W Monopoly. I think I played it one time.
It's
Yeah.
a good game. Come on, man. Okay.
Lucas, do you have outro?
Yeah, but so yeah, any final words, guests?
No, thank you for having me.
Iron Hands EX.
I have a
Cool.
shout out. Shout out to Brandon and James for coming on today. It's good to
Yeah,
have you
shout
guys.
out.
Yeah,
Great to have you.
it was fun.
Absolute homies. Yeah.
Okay.
Hope to have you again.
So
good
if
luck to
nobody
everyone in San
has,
Antonio this weekend.
Yep.
Lucas has the outro.
good luck
Let's
to
hit it.
everybody for San Antonio. If nobody else has anything to say, then you've been listening to the Lost Mine Pokemon Trading Card Game Podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a good week.